When Darwin and Wallace first presented their findings to the world, there was some understandable backlash. Most people believed that God created a perfect world, and there was no need for species to evolve. At the time, the theory of evolution was disregarded and brushed off to the side as an afterthought. Now, a few centuries later, with plenty of findings and research, more people understand and accept evolution. However, there are a few things people still get wrong. In this presentation, I hope to educate you on a few topics. If you already know these, feel free to take a nap. But if you don't, welcome to the common misconceptions about evolution. Misconception 1. It's just a theory. Evolution really got the short end of the stick when it comes to its name. The theory of evolution is a theory, but it means more than what you would think. When we say theory, it normally means something along the lines of a guess, a speculation, or assumption. In science, a hypothesis is a prediction based on evidence, while a theory is a collection of hypotheses. A theory is like a blueprint for ideas that is supported by factual information, and even information that hasn't been discovered yet. Darwin didn't know all the complexities of DNA when he created the theory of evolution, but now that we do know more about our genetic code, the information fits with the theory and acts as even more evidence. Yes, it is a theory, but the theory of evolution is supported by massive amounts of evidence that has been collected over centuries. Misconception 2. Survival of the fittest. When you think of fitness, you think of athletes, muscles, and overall strength, so it's logical to assume that only the biggest, strongest, and fastest animals will survive. This, however, is not the case. In evolution, an individual's fitness refers to their ability to survive in their environment and have offspring. This is why we don't have giant animals like King Kong and Godzilla walking around. Yes, they are stronger, but they are just impractical for survival. Traits that help organisms survive, like camouflage and color, or even cooperation with members of the same species, can be even more beneficial than physical strength. A good example of this is birds. Yes, there are some really strong and big birds, but most birds mate through their song and dance, not really things you would consider when talking about fitness. Another good example is a sloth. They are slow and they sleep a lot, yet they still survive because they fill a niche in their ecosystem. Being fit doesn't mean being the strongest or fastest, rather it means being able to survive in your environment and reproduce. Misconception 3. Humans evolved from monkeys. This is a very common misconception, but it does have some truth to it, which I will explain now. Taking a look at a monkey, it's easy to see the similarities to humans, but it's actually chimpanzees that share the most DNA with humans. A whopping 98.8% of our DNA is shared with chimpanzees, and you can see the similarities between the two chromosomes here. Now, if we are so similar, did we evolve from them? The answer is no. Although we are related, it's not as direct as some people think. When people say humans evolved from monkeys, you would think of a line similar to this. And that begs the question, will modern-day monkeys eventually evolve into humans? The real relationship between us and monkeys, and other similar primates, is more like this. This image here shows that we are all related to one common ancestor, however, we are not related directly to each other. This is why chimpanzees, monkeys, and apes will never evolve into humans. The most recent ancestor between humans and chimpanzees lived around 6 to 8 million years ago, and the common ancestor between all monkeys and apes lived around 25 million years ago. Even though we share 98.8% of our DNA, that remaining 1.2% is responsible for over 35 million differences, some big and some small. We are related to monkeys and chimpanzees, however, we did not directly evolve from them. Misconception 4. Evolution results in more complex organisms. Taken at face value, this statement seems true. We were once only a bundle of cells, and we've only been going up from there. But you will not always gain new abilities in evolution. Sometimes you may lose certain traits. Moles, who primarily live underground, have little need for eyesight. A term that describes this nicely is, if you don't use it, you lose it. Moles are colorblind and have very poor vision that only recognizes light. To find food and survive underground, they rely on their smell and touch. Their sense of touch is so sensitive that they can feel vibrations in the dirt, feeling for tiny insects crawling around, or to sense a predator approaching. Because the moles do not need good eyesight, they will lose it. The same thing happened in whales. Whales used to have legs, but as they continued to evolve, they lost their legs in favor of a tail that allows them to better thrive in their environment. Sometimes losing a trait will benefit the species in the long run.